Well, there are a few questions that are directly linked to what you shared. One from Brandon Pelmore, who is gone. He had to leave, but we do want to get his question out because it was really an important question, and it echoes some of the other questions that have come through. With all the cuts of the arts programs in regards to the budget, teachers, et cetera, how does PUSD expect students to meet their A through G requirements?
I guess that's me again.
And that's Brandon, an IB student at Blair.
Yeah. I don't believe that any specific classes have been cut for the fine arts, and I think that's what he's referring to. What becomes much more difficult is that many times those classes are larger, or you can't offer as many of them, so sometimes they create conflicts in a student's schedule. So I do think the reduction does have some impact on the actual fine arts program. But again, there's a number of tremendous arts organizations within this community that we have to work with, and instead of providing after-school opportunities, maybe we have to bring those opportunities into the school day more directly so that we mitigate some of that impact.
Okay, let's go to our social media and see what others are asking.
Okay, so we've had a question via Facebook from the Invest in Kids Pen Viewing Party asking what criteria will be used to decide which schools will be closed, what are the options for the use of the district building, and is leasing one of the options?
Superintendent, we're going to pass on you and go to Bob.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
I'll refer to him for all of the criteria, so you can see if you can remember the criteria for the closing. But we did have, before we started the school consolidation committee, we did have CB Richard Ellis, the Realty Group, do a whole report on all of our properties as far as what were the potentials of any real estate, any value in them for leasing, for selling, and created a rather thick manual that our committee now will be able to use. But yes, I think the looking back, and I'll talk about the building on Hudson, that there seems to be a very viable piece of property for leasing. And that's why we moved as a board to pass on that and to set a date that we want to be out of that building by July of next year, so that we can use that building to generate, I think estimates are over $1 million a year, maybe close to $2 million a year in lease if we can get it leased. And the professionals believe that that is a viable opportunity for us. And so I think that's what we would look at. What we've looked at through that whole, what we're calling the asset management plan, is how to make sure we're getting the most out of our facilities in places. I should add too, because not everybody heard, the other part that came out of that report was a suggestion that we could look at our service yard area and some of the other large areas of property around John Muir High School there on Woodbury, and that there was considerable interest in like a big box retailer coming in, and they would like to purchase the land. But there are a lot of problems with that, and there is certainly some neighborhood issues and community issues that we looked at pretty seriously. So we also voted as a board not to entertain that as one of the possibilities, although there is some interest in looking at that property and see if there can be some mixed use there. We could still get some of the use of our yard out of it, but maybe there's a portion of it that we could do a better job of leasing to bring in revenues so that we can mitigate some of the devastating cuts that we're facing in education.
Okay, Bob, I'm going to move us to a program question around the living on a budget. And I've got a quick question that I need a quick answer for. Monique Ola? Monique is standing there in the back. Monique asked us a question. Monique's from Washington Middle School, one of their financial analysts. Monique, what's your question?
My question is, how is the district promoting the ROP program? I know that years back that seemed to be very successful, and adding revenue to students, which in turn helps their living with parents and what have you, and then also getting credits for school. I don't hear much talk about the ROP program, and just wondering how the district's promoting that.
Okay, Superintendent Diaz.
A quick response. We don't talk about ROP specifically, but when we talk about college and career pathways, and we talk about incorporating more career and technical programs into the secondary experience, both at the middle school and the high school, ROP funding and ROP courses are part of that. And so ROP is very much alive and well in our district and is very important to our overall initiative at secondary schools.
Thank you. We're going to move now to our next subject, which is really linked to the subjects that have been on table so far.
Can I say something about
Sure, go ahead.
Really quick. It's all here in Pasadena, and when we talk about bringing the community in, I'm going to give you an example about what's going on with Webster. My son's at Webster. Our kids were starving for the arts. They were starving for math and science things, classes, more curriculum. So just by one little connection, we got Carnegie Observatories to adopt us. And through grants, they sponsor a math and science room for us now. It's a lot of work. Parents have to volunteer for that. But again, if we want it, if you want it in your schools, you can have it. It's here in Pasadena. There's so many businesses that could just, with a little bit of nudging, will take on a school and say, okay, I can't give you all, but here's some of it. And thank goodness for Carnegie Observatories, they're giving that to us. The parents at our school decided our kids want art. We are going to give art to them. So we have now started an art docent program. And we've allocated money through PTA, through fundraising, a yard sale. We made money on a yard sale for this thing. So if you want it, it's there. Just do it.
You know, this is a parent who has some one-liners that we could put on bumper stickers. But you offer the segue extraordinaire, because what we're talking about now is the involvement of parent and community in helping to support the movement and the progress in PUSD. So that example that you launched for us really does set us up for this discussion going forward. And it's just do it, just tell them to be nice. These are the things that we're learning tonight. This is good information and a good model that we could replicate if we knew all the particulars and have the ability to share that information out.